In the previous video, we created the second message in our campaign, and we set it to be sent to people who opened the first message or to people who had read our beginner's guide. In doing so, we tied the two together so that we'd only ever be sent at the right time to the right people. Now we're going to create the last message of our campaign, and we'll set it to be sent based on the second message. So let's jump into Engage and get started. The final message in our campaign will be to inform users about adding collaborators to projects. So let's create it by clicking the blue button and then give it a meaningful title that ties it to our campaign but also lets anyone identify it. Now, we'll select the audience, and like before, we'll make sure the audience ties to the previous message we created. For this message, we want the audience to be users who have received the previous message but who have also gone on to create their first project. We'll do this by setting a rule to target the people who received the second message in our campaign. And then we'll target users whose project count is greater than 0. And this time, we'll also leave the condition to "and", as we don't want to send this unless people have definitely received the previous message and have also gone on to create their first project. Now onto the channel, the message itself, and how it will be formatted. Again, to speed this up, I'll go through this fairly quickly. If you'd like to learn about writing and configuring messages, you can check out our other videos, which I'll link on the screen now. So we'll set this message to deliver via email, just to change it up a bit. My subject is going to be something really simple but quite personal. I'll do this by adding their first name into the subject and using a call to action. Now I'll copy and paste the message body into our composer. And as you can see, we're describing the benefits of adding collaborators, but we're also providing a link to the projects list where they can add a collaborator. We're going to use the plain email template for this one, as we want to keep the interaction really personal. Next, we'll set the goal for the message. If you remember back to the start, the goal of this message is to get people to add a collaborator to their project. So we'll set the goal to be collaborators added is greater than 0. On top of that, we're going to set the delivery window to ensure this message is only sent midweek between 9 AM and 5 PM. And that's it. We just need to save and close this message. Once we've done that, we can navigate back to our campaign to check everything out and set it live. As you can see, all 3 of our messages are now in the campaign. The first being our welcome message, which will prompt the user to read our beginner's guide. The second, which is a message to get the user to create their first project. This message will be sent to people who either opened the first message or who read the beginner's guide. Finally, we have our collaborators message, which will prompt the user to add a collaborator to their project. It will only be sent to people who have received the second message in the campaign and who have also gone on to create their first project. This is important to recognize, as the triggering or sending of these messages is based on actions, not time. A lot of other marketing tools only offer the ability to trigger messages based on time. But the issue with that is, how are we to know the user completed the actions of the previous message we sent? But as you can see with Intercom, it lets you do just that. Before we set our campaign live, let's look at the options we have to reorganize the order of our campaign messages. By dragging and dropping our messages, we can change the priority order in which they're sent. However, this only comes into action if a user matches the rules of 2 or more messages in the list. In our case, we'll leave the order the same, as they're in the exact sequence we want them to be, but also none of our messages have the same rules, so the users will never match more than 1. And that's it. We've set up and configured our very first onboarding campaign. We set our campaign live by simply clicking the Set Live button in the top right. What this will do is set the entire campaign and all of the message within it live in one go. I hope this wasn't too difficult to follow. Give it a go in our test environment and see how you get on.